Hi, Paul Sakis, Good News Broadcast, speaking to Susan Beer. Hi, Susan. How are you?
Hello, Paul. I am great. Thank you.
Excellent. Susan's a very good friend of Good News. She's on our board. She helps us all the time to move Good News into the next level. She helps us move on, and she's had an experience recently, and a love of her life, and a love of Good News, and a love of mine, very much so personally, and lost your husband. Isn't that so?
Yes, it is.
And Andrew Beer is, and still is, and will always be one of the greatest men I've ever met personally. You've written a book to, in essence, commemorate or show your respect how I see it here. And you two are just the most wonderful couple that I've had the pleasure to spend time with, and you're a smart person, and you understand the good things in life. So putting your book together really is a blessing for humankind. So tell us about it, because I think you're going to help a lot of people through a time that's not such an easy one to deal with.
Well, as you said, I was blessed and fortunate. Andrew, when he passed, sent a message to me that he was sorry he couldn't be with me any longer, but to move on without me. And that's what I've done, and I believe it's a requirement. Life continues. You have no choice but to go forward. What you do have a choice in is how, be it positively or woe is me. And believe me, no one wants to hear woe is me. For a few days, it's fine. But even then, the focus really isn't on you. The focus is on him because he passed, and it's also on others because they're there, and they think they're supporting, but in actuality, you're answering questions, being there for them. So this book is about the widow, the widower. It could also be applicable to the divorcee or to someone separated, because it says to them, you must move on, and you must really, honestly, being honest with yourself, do it for yourself. You have to focus on you and not on woe is me.
There's statistics about women, or widows in general, not women, but widows.
Its focus is widows, but the actuality is that it's a topic, and the way the book is done is that it could be for much more than widows. The people who have read it have all said this, and that, as I said, included people who were widowed and separated and divorced. And they've all said this has helped them. One gentleman said to me he had been widowed for several years, approximately 7 or 8, and he said to me, I wish I'd had this back then. It would have helped me, and it still helps me today. And the fact is, he's remarried in that time, but he still felt this way. And that was a man, and usually men are categorized differently. They're accepted, they're included. Women tend not to be.
What are been some of your challenges, though, because you had a lifestyle and a way of life? What have some of those been?
Challenges?
Yes.
Moving on, resolving his estate, doing so to the benefit of everyone. You go from having a partner. You go from a time when basically you're included to a time when that changes. I think for me it's been less so than what I've heard for other women, mainly because I don't accept it. I believe you create your own life, you create the way you think, and the only way you're going to change that is by your own thought processes. So I believe, as Dr. Norman Vincent Peale said, in the power of positive thinking, the power of a smile, the power to realize that my life was enhanced, and that carries forward its memories. And yeah, you can look at them as, God, woe is me, I'm lost, they're gone. Or you can look at them as, hey, these were great, this is what I had. It hasn't stopped, those memories are still there. So do a gratitude list.
Did you, and I will say that the Reverend Norman Vincent Peale's Positive Thinking book was given to me by my mother in elementary school, and that book is sort of the basis of Good News Broadcast, life affirming.
Right.
You, though, are you are, in Yiddish we call you a buster. You're like go go go. You're a high energy person to begin with. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
did this stop you from being high energy initially? I
For
mean,
a month, but then my dog passed away. Exactly 1 month. My female dog, my sweetheart girl.
I
I
was
adored this dog. It was the only female I'd ever had. My husband would refer to her also in the same way. She was incredible. And exactly 1 month to a half hour later, Star died. And after that, I said, no more. I won't accept any more negatives. Just don't send it to me, universe. Let's start transforming. And that was the change. It was such a shock. Before that, I was dealing, but I wasn't challenging.
Let's take a moment to talk about Andrew. Tell me about Andrew.
Beyond the fact he was 6'4", he was highly intelligent. He wrote as an academician. He had been in the financial community for years. He was an entrepreneur. He loved to start companies. It was his passion. He loved the life we led. He enjoyed, in the most recent past, taking our dogs for long walks near the house here in Bedford. He enjoyed that. It was something he had never really done. We were always in the city, which we both loved. We're both New York Cityites.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a very giving person, a very trusting person. He believed in his glass always being half full. He didn't believe in the half-empty philosophy. He had just written a book, which he had really prepared for since he was a student at Princeton and before. And this was his life's dream. And after he passed away, the book was rejected, although I understand it was accepted before that for publication. And he had so much to live for. He was going to start speaking about this the following January, like a month later.
Well, you know that I was involved intimately with the book,
Mm-hmm.
and in essence, and with Andrew. And Andrew, I must say, for good news and for me personally, was inspirational. And
Thank you.
through times of running a business on my own, your husband gave me so much strength and confidence, and you're gonna do fine. He was like one of my number one cheerleaders in all the years of Good News. Just such a positive-minded man, and brilliant. Geez, you married a brilliant guy there.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
It's a beautiful kind of thing. So let's go back to the book. Tell us about some of the chapters in it.
Where do you want to start? Beginning, middle, or end?
Beginning.
Okay. It begins with his passing, about the doctors not notifying me, and, my calling and calling and calling, his cell, his room, before I finally got him on the phone. It was, he was in perfect health, absolutely perfect. It was a medical era. It went from there to guests coming to my home immediately, including someone Balbir Mather from Trees for Life. He came the next day. He flew in immediately. And it was through Balbir listening the morning after he arrived to my writings of the night before. I couldn't sleep, so I wrote all night. And he loved what I had written, and he said, keep on writing. This is something that needs to be shared with others. And that was the beginning of Move On Without Me. And another friend, who you know too, Nikki Armacost, Nikki said to me, when you're ready, I have a publisher for you. She did. And it was immediate. I was very fortunate. I did not have to go out looking for someone. It was a gift to me. It was a blessing. I knew that this was what I was supposed to do because my thinking was different. There is no book that I have read or seen or heard about that addresses widowhood positively. They're all about woe is me and looking back and not looking forward. They're about completing but the completing doesn't seem to ever end. And they're not about the woman focusing on herself, because you can't be healthy for others if you're not healthy for you. That's the most important thing. And you would be amazed how important it is to smile. I walked into a luncheon with friends of mine from Bangkok were visiting New York, and as I walked in, they stood up, the restaurant, and they looked at me and said, "You look great." And then they said, "But we remember Andrew." And I said, "Of course you do. You should. But that doesn't change the fact that he's gone and that I need to move on." And basically, the lunch, because of my smile, was changed. It wasn't a focus on, the loss. It was on the future. It was on positiveness. And it was all because of that smile as I walked in the door. And I think too many people today focus and keep focusing on the negative. They don't know how to move on. I think that's what this book does. It says it's okay to be needy. It's okay and it's normal if friends change and others other friendships grow stronger. It's all normal.
Well, in that also, I went away with you two to the Grand Canary Islands for an event. You two had, out of most of the people I know, the most individual but together relationship. You were so strong individually and had the freedom to be who you were, he was who he was, and united in a beautiful way.
Thank you.
Your relationship was inspiring because you both were not afraid to say how you felt with each other, to each other, and share that with people. And I imagine that was one of the strengths of your relationship.
We did come together in the financial world for many years. I had been a stockbroker and ran a brokerage firm when we met and married, and continued doing that for several years, and then got involved with him. But he enjoyed. We both came from the same world, but from there we both expanded outwards to people and areas that what we grew up with was not basically a part of, and we both loved it because there were so many new things to learn and so much more to do. When I started my foundation, he loved, and that's part of what you were there for. He loved being part of that world of the international community. It was something that fascinated him. The development, be it sustainable or otherwise, you saw him. He wanted to talk with everyone.
No,
he wanted to meet everyone, learn everything.
He loved people. And you too. You too were.
Oh yeah.
You're like my favorites. You're on the favorites list of life. You're just
I thank you.
So expressive. Really, very, very special in your belief in humanity. So when is this book going to come out? Or is it out? May 25th at Barnes & Noble?
It's out on the 25th, next week, Tuesday.
And it's a hardcover book, softcover book?
No, it's a softcover. My publisher, which is Hatherley and Random House, they wanted it to be available to people of all economic levels. So rather than being $25.99 or $29.99, it's half price, $14.95. So this enables more people to purchase it.
Well, that's good. That's very good. So you're quite excited, I'm sure.
It's good. Everything is good. It has been a very, perhaps the most terrific period to begin, and also one of the most blessed. And again, it's outlook.
Okay. Well, I'm so happy to hear this good news and to share with our audience. Give me last question here. So what's good news for you?
What's good news for you?
For you.
That others benefit as I have done from my philosophy.
Okay, that's beautiful. Well, congratulations. They're also going to be on Amazon.com. I see here in Borders. You're going to be out there.
Barnes & Noble, yeah. It's been in the news already. I'm going to be on a talk show next week. So yeah, it's getting out there.
Congratulations. Okay, Susan. However we can help you, we're here for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.